Morning, everybody. So, wow, what a weekend! Actually, went to see Mary Poppins last night. Absolutely fantastic. If you're going to see it, then it's really, really good. If you haven't yet, then go book it and go check it out. Thought it was absolutely fabulous. Unlike the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious that was the game on Saturday. I have to give that one to Gavin actually because he came up with that while we were sat in hospitality. But yeah, it's an interesting one. It's tough, really tough to take. It's the hangover from the FA Cup that was always going to be a concern. And equally from that, two toothless defeats, let's face it, against Hull and Sheffield Wednesday yesterday. Really concerning. 5 more goals conceded. Not that that really matters, guys, does it? At the end of the day, 3 shots on target as well, not brilliant, and also a non-existent XG for those that like their XGs. But yeah, and to top it off before kickoff, Randall having a 3-game ban. So not brilliant at all, but there are some positives. I always like to try and be positive. Yes, you can call me deluded, you can call me silly. I'm losing the plot, and I don't mind that at the end, depending on where we end up. But 10 games to go. There's points still to be had. Hardy's back, and we know we've been lacking that outlet up front and a goal scorer. Edwards is coming back too. Won't necessarily get a full 90 minutes on Wednesday. So there is still a chance. Still a chance. Anyway, evening, gents. Andy, Carl, Gavin, Steve. How are we all doing? And Andy, give us your thoughts on that yesterday.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate. We'd have to take that game with a spoonful of sugar, mate. Absolutely.
Will help us go down. Will help us go down.
And I think that Miro Muslic needs to go out and get a couple of strikers in the summer because apparently you can get them from Eastern Europe, tuppence a bag, really. But anyway, disappointing, mate. Yeah, very disappointing. We just didn't seem to show up at all, did we? We had about 5 minutes in the first half where we could have scored. Sorinola had a chance, a couple of really early chances, and then we just switched off, didn't we?
It was 3 minutes of excitement, Andy, wasn't it? It was they've come out for the fight.
I thought, you score here now, boys. You get a goal here now, and it sets the tone for the game. But Barn, Door, and Banjos spring to mind, and we just couldn't get off the mark, and it cost us, as we know. Wednesday came more and more to the game, start to dictate the game a bit more, and have a lot of the play. Really slick attacking. The goals were sloppy. How much do you want me to say, by the way?
No. I'm opening this out because I don't want it to. It's going to be hard to not be negative because of the situation. And as Graham has told me, even though I'm always positive, as a lot of you know, evening Graham, he's saying no chance. Yeah, but there is still a chance because it is possible still. But yeah, I think give us your feeling as well, Andy, and the rest of you want to come to you on, where you see it now. Do you feel that you see it as a chance to still survive, or are you like, now we're dead and buried? Go on, Andy.
I'm still going to cling on to that hope that we can survive because I'm forever an optimist. People will say, especially the guy that's sitting next to me, Ray Clark, he'll tell me that, I'm not an optimist. I'm always moaning, but he's a liar. No, I'm optimistic that we're going to stay up still. I don't know why, but I just am. I think we've shown enough in the last few weeks under Muslic to sort of have any sort of evidence of that. Okay, the last few games have been abysmal because we've been lackluster and tired. We've had people suspended, people injured, key people out again injured, Randall suspended and injured. So it's not helped that we've had a weakened side. But I'm still clinging on to that hope that we can get out of this. I think there are teams worse than us around us. I'm trying to struggle to think who at the minute. Probably Stoke and Cardiff fall into that category. Luton fall into that category. So I'm not giving up hope just yet.
No, good. I like that, and I don't like to go down without a fight. While there's still a chance, I'm always there. You got to go and grab that, and it's your opportunity too. But Carl, come to you. It's obvious. There's a lot of reasons people will look at that performance on Tuesday and yesterday and just think, well, in order to fight for that survival, you've got to have the hunger, the desire, to want to get out there and really take it to them, regardless of your issues within the team in terms of players out. But yeah, it's can they turn it around, Carl? What was your thoughts on yesterday?
Yeah, very disappointing. I think we all knew that this week was going to be huge for the club, and even last week, the whole game. But yeah, I thought we'd take it to Sheffield Wednesday and kind of get over the whole performance, but it was much of the same from the whole game. We didn't seem to want to get stuck into the opposition. I mean, the first 10 minutes were decent. If we took one of those chances and scored first, it might have been a different game. But we just looked very leggy, tired. We didn't seem to know what to do with the ball. I mean, looking at the foot mob stats, it's got us with 277 accurate passes, which is quite a lot. Same for Sheffield Wednesday at 284. So we had a lot of the ball as well, but we just didn't know where to.
Carl, do you think on that though, that part of that is because Sheffield Wednesday sat off us especially when they got that second and just let us have the ball a bit, and then with their fresher legs then came at us.
Plus, we didn't really have an outlet until really Hardy came on when we were trying to play it down into him through the channels. But yeah, we didn't have an option up front to really press Sheffield Wednesday, and they did a good job on us defensively as well. They kept the ball, and yeah, it was just a very frustrating afternoon. Something which obviously I didn't expect after the whole game. I thought we'd have a reaction, which we didn't get. And now we're going into another two games this week, which again are absolutely massive and probably the last chance saloon. But seeing Portsmouth beat Leeds this afternoon, that's not going to be easy. They're probably high on confidence, and yeah, it's very depressing stuff at the moment. But I still believe, like you, that it's not over till it's over. But we're making it extremely difficult now.
Yeah, just you mentioned Pompey. Just brought up the comment there from Graham. Yeah, it's certainly watching bits of that game, not all of it. Just going to move something out of the way. They look good. They had some really really strong spells. The goal was good. And managed to sort of keep them at bay and take the 3 points, which their run recently has proven really effective. So. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. And just, even everybody that's joined us tonight, we've also got a few more comments I'll just show before I come to Gavin, who will be also eager to give his view. But, if you think we are staying up, that's to me, obviously, from Martin and Andy so far, then tell us where the points are coming from. I can't see us beating Preston, Coventry, Sheffield United, Norwich, Leeds, and Watford as well in there. Sorry. No, it's not going to be easy. I'll come on to it a bit more once the guys have had their point, and obviously he also says Portsmouth. Gavin, obviously we were sort of sat there in hospitality, a bit nervous. We weren't confident, were we? The four of us, yourself, your brother, and Dave, going out before kickoff, and obviously that proved to be right.
Yeah, we were pretty atrocious. I think I was a bit numb beforehand. When I walked to the front door a lot earlier than I normally do, the wife asked, "How was it?" And I said, basically like an evening in an early night with me and you, 3 minutes of ecstasy and 87 minutes of disappointment. And that was that, which is absolutely true. We were, I think, 7-8 minutes probably of attacking on the front foot. We looked really positive. We were pressing really high. The energy was great. And then it all fell apart. The first, I think the first goal actually, being ref watchy, was right in front of us. And I think the ball was out of play. Going down the left wing, but we didn't block the cross. And then I think that Better wanted to even up his score for the season. He scored one. He's now scored one in the other end. That was poor. He's got obviously no right foot because he tried to left foot it away. It just swing a foot on it and get it anywhere apart from on the back of our net. The second goal, we were carved open like a tin of corned beef. Having watched one of our massive, giant, aggressive centre halves just become like a preying, like a bloody kitten. How you can chest the ball down, control it when you've got an absolute 6'7" beast up your backside is completely beyond me. And then turn, get it down the wing, and then for all good measure, get yourself in the box and score as well. And just side foot it home. It was horrific.
Yeah, too easy.
We were cooked, weren't we? So that was the end of that. No fight. We looked knackered. Even Pusac, when he came on in the second half, brother's comment to me was, he's blowing out his backside. He's been on 15 minutes. So I don't know. Are these guys completely spent? I know we've brought them in because they've not had football elsewhere, and we're promising them football. Playing, what is it now? 10 games in 38 days. Is that
something like
that? And most of those guys, but certainly the two centre halves of Maxi and my brain said tonight, they've both played all the minutes, I think, bar Maxi being substituted the other night. Katic, thank you. Looking at FootMob, Katic was our man of the match at 7.1. Second rated player was Paulson at 6.8. They were both pretty good. Everyone else I thought was pretty poor. Sarinola had a half-decent half. Better I thought was poor. He wasted a good opportunity in the first half. There was opportunity if he's going to shoot from there to slide in Mumba, and he didn't do it. Shot was tame. I thought Bundu got some undue bad press. I thought he was okay for the first half, and he was our only outlet. But what we don't have is another Bundu to pass to hold up and go again. So we have Bundu, then we have weak as piss, right? So him getting some bad press was a little bit interesting. And I think the highlight of the day was sat behind Graham at the minute, which was some ice fingers. For both
sat behind Andy.
Behind Andy, sorry. Was some ice fingers. It was. I don't think I've been this disillusioned ever. I was furious for an hour after the game, and now I'm kind of resigned to League One next year. But putting I've had lots of interesting conversations this morning with Twitter. My kids were at a birthday party, so I dashed off to the local Costa to get a flat white because I can't sit and jump for all the tea in China, especially after yesterday. And
Gav, they were giving out free ice buns in there yesterday.
They were, Argyle ones.
Yeah, but they weren't blocking on podcast.
They had a couple of spare ones on the side. But there we are. So I was sat in there having some interesting conversations with some people on Twitter, trying to get people to lift their heads slightly, not in chin up variety, but in looking at our future, I suppose, in more than games of one game or 10 games. We're rebuilding now, aren't we, for next year? I'm sure that's already going on in the background. Simon's clearly in on that camp because he's made a bit of a Freudian slip at the round table or the hotel hall or whatever you want to call it, fans forum. And unless something dramatic happens and they all suddenly top 2 inches, they become back to where they were and they get over this tiredness, we're going down, and we're going down in a blaze of glory.
Oh God, no! Look, it's like I said. I get why it's tough for everybody. I'm not disillusioned and all that sort of stuff. I'm just generally a positive person, and sort of won many a battles where over my time in career where it looks like it's done and dusted. But while there's still that hope that this league is a strange one, and the results when as Steve keeps dropping his phone, his results. The results.
He's got trousers on, isn't it?
Yeah.
The trick is he hasn't.
It's resting on my laptop. It's resting on my laptop. I tried to go on my laptop and go on the podcast, but I couldn't get onto it.
Steve, this is a family show. You need to keep trousers on, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Although we had our trousers pulled down yesterday. Yeah. So So no, look. Obviously, apart from Derby getting that win, going 2 up in under 10 minutes, against Blackburn and all the manager stuff with that, but. So we're still only 6 points behind, and that's still something to sort of cling on to. I get it's not easy. Some of the points you said, Gav, Pilgrim Pete evening, mate, even everybody that's joined us across the platforms. He's right. I sort of said this. I don't know if it was on last Sunday's show, but, sort of with Pukac getting tired because he had no games before joining us, and Katic and Maxine, I said then there's a risk that they may fall into that same camp because of the situation before they joined us, and that's Petey's just put that out there, and I think absolutely I wouldn't disagree. It was frustrating.
Mike, what I don't get right is if you trust Cornell Such, if you trust Jose Pleguezuelo, if you trust Victor Palsson, why not give them a rest?
Yeah.
It's like they have to play, even if they're on one leg, they have to play. And if they are that knackered, and we are a data-driven club, as most people on Twitter will now start giving me absolute pelters, we are a data-driven club, the data will show you how tired these guys are and how quickly they're falling off in games from their highest peak to their lowest. Why doesn't he just say, you know what, I'm gonna start Such this week. I'm gonna start Such, Pouch, and we'll bring you on at half time or whatever. But you need a rest. What I know we've got a week's gap coming up, but they're both going off to play international football, so they're not going to get a break unless they sit on the bench. But they're still going to train every day, etc. Why aren't they being trusted if they're good enough?
Yeah. Well, you just don't rest. You're clearly two decent players. That's for me. I mean, that what was he called? The player Peterson just absolutely out-muscled. And actually, I said to you, didn't I, Gav? Made them look average yesterday. Really.
But I think it's fatigue because if you look at their, when the adrenaline's pumping, they're first in the club. Everyone's singing their name. They're doing the fist pumps every time they do a sliding tackle and all the other good stuff. They look absolutely different animals. Now they look a bit fatigued. The varnish has worn off. We've had a couple of interesting performances, 2 or 3 on the bounce. They booed them away. What probably would have hurt them more than anything is they booed them yesterday at home. That's not happened for a long time. I think maybe our dear bald leader with a beard from the FA was probably the last time I heard a boo at home. Or did we boo Rooney? I don't even think we did we? We just said you aren't good enough. Auf Wiedersehen. So I think Foster Ball was the last time I heard booed at Home Park, anyway, off memory. They've got to be, if they're not fit enough, give them 1 week's break. I don't get it. He's just done it with our biggest signing or second biggest signing in Bader. He left him at the squad altogether.
Yeah. But we look at that and understand why, though, to a degree, don't we? I mean, look at the question from Martin Ingham. I've just left up on the screen there. Now that Maxi has been in the shop window twice, highlighted as a player to watch by ITV both times, isn't there a real danger that bigger clubs will come in for him? Yes, but we did part of what we did on Thursday night in our live lounge with the investment side. We talked a little bit about obviously the players and the business we've done there. And Maxi isn't just going to have a clause that will allow him to go freely. I'd be absolutely mad if you don't protect your asset for at least the cost that you paid for it. But yeah, do you know what? If he does, then hopefully we'll get a decent amount for him. So, we'll sort of see as time tells.
There needs to be, don't there now, I think, a real... Oh, another light's gone. Haven't you got an electrician? I'm now in the dark, boys. So there we go. And I didn't even
Dark Destroyer.
My teeth. What I don't understand is we have to start now thinking about next year. Are the youngsters good enough? Yes or no? If they are, they need to start getting some game time. I had a really interesting conversation with Pilgrim PT this morning on Twitter where he asked me who I'd keep, who I wouldn't. I think I said I'd get rid of 8 of the permanent squad and all of the loans bar Pusac, if Pusac would accept our option to buy. Whether he does or not, I don't know, but that's a good one. Graham saying 4, I think 8. But then you have to include like Will Jenkins-Davis. You have to include people like Saxon Early, Ben Wayne. So there's guys out there, I think, that are already surplus to requirements. They've had really disappointing loan spells. That's not turned it round. And now they have to go. But I think we need 8 and all the loans to go, which I think is 12, 13 players. And then a rebuild. But, we've got one half decent striker who's been on one leg for most of the season. Our midfield is barren. And I suppose the other disappointing thing is Adam Randall's mouth runs quicker than most of our midfield have all year. I'm talking to referees. And now he's out for 3 bloody weeks. So, that's not out this
3 games.
And I'm hoping he's had an absolute kicking from either Adam or Miron about his conduct. We're all pissed off. We're all frustrated. But then he's just done that and given himself a 5-game rest now by having 2 games off for injury and 3 in suspension. It's ridiculous.
Just coming back to what you were saying earlier on, Gav, about players like Caleb Roberts. If you're not giving these players a chance, or a Saka for that matter, they're not. Who's going to want them in the end? And
let's come on to that in a minute because I'm conscious there that Steve. I know Steve, you weren't at the game. You were trying to watch it, I think, on TV stream. But yeah, you. How are you feeling, Steve, at the moment?
Well, put it this way, I think we're doomed at the moment, but never say never.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Sort of another. That's 3 of us that are trying to remain.
But put it this way,
positive.
The first 5 games went in Rooney's prior to the international break, we were hopeless. Then we went on that run where we got 9 points out of 15. Anything like that can happen, and they were against the likes of the bigger sides, and we adapt better when teams come at us or when
but you're playing an attacking opposition. Yeah, it opens it more up, doesn't it? I think. Let me just switch it back again. I'm sure we all have. I'd sort of stayed off Twitter, obviously, because I was at Mary Poppins, so that helped to a degree. To be fair, going straight there after the game, so and that was good to watch. I mean, I did think about the performance, obviously, in prep for this today, and just in general, just collecting my thoughts. And it is, it's tough, it's painful for sure. And the booing at the end, I never like to boo. Just personally, that's just me. Everybody has their freedom to do what they want with it. But the chance of that was absolutely useless, or what the hell was that? To be more precise, and you saw the players go over trying to clap, and then as that chant came out, they sort of almost quickly didn't clap and walked off. And as Miron said, the Green Army turned their back on us, and we have to, give them a reason to not do that effectively. And so, yeah, it's tough all round, but I think that some people would also now, here's a next question, sort of, Andy, I'll come to you, is it Miron's persistence to stay playing, the style that he does, the hoofball, and not adapt or change? And sort of, I have a point to also ask you on that for your views. It's how on earth can you also, when you come in with the run of games, plus then we go through on the FA Cup. And he even alluded to the fact that Malachi, I've pronounced it right now, apologies to him, Malachi Boateng, he wasn't bringing him straight into the squad because he needed him to have a proper week's training to understand the way he wants to play. So how can he change it up when probably all the focus is on that style? And there's no time to still even really do too much there, because back to back games.
Yeah, we've been up. I'm going to say something else there. Crap Creek for a long while now, because of this start. The start of play it's not been bad. It's been direct, and we've seen the results from it. Against West Brom, we've seen it against Liverpool. We saw it against Millwall. But you take some of those players out of the equation, like Randall, with creativity, and you replace him with someone who's, I'm not going to name names, but someone who's not as effective as Randall, for instance. And then you're going to get. You have to sort of think, oh, hang on, Adam's not there. Who are they going to play to now? And it's like we just can't adapt to that. We just cannot seem to string two passes together sometimes, and it's really frustrating. I spoke to you this morning when I was walking the dog. I was really frustrated. I'm still frustrated.
Yeah.
He's got to have a plan B, and I think we saw some of that yesterday, where we tried to sort of play from the back again for little spells, but that was going direct again, and the communication wasn't there. It's just. We looked untidy yesterday, very untidy. But I do believe that he's got to have a plan B somewhere. Otherwise,
I just don't think there's time, Andy, really, other than the international break, to try and do something. This is everything sort of against him, and you either commit to sticking with your style. And we know when it works, like look at Millwall, West Brom and stuff. We can get results out of games, the Sunderland away performance. But I just don't think there's time. And obviously Hardy being injured, and as he put it, not being able to walk for, a couple of weeks, and rushing him back in, not rushing him, but he felt he had to bring him on, and he didn't really want to do that, did he?
I think we were rushing Hardy back. You could see yesterday he wasn't at full speed. He was holding his back after full time as well when they were coming off the pitch. You could sense that. Well, he said in the press conference, we've brought Hardy back probably quicker than we'd like to, because we got no other option up there. We got no other attacking threat. So we
the danger is Hardy's getting more of an injury from being rushed back.
That's the risk you take, and I'm sure he's not 100% fit. And he's probably said to Miron, put me out there I'm not 100%
Well,
fit. But
he did it. He did it. Try and save Wayne Rooney's job. He still had 10 stitches in his knee, and he went out 3-4 days earlier than advertised. I can't remember what game it was.
Yeah.
We were away somewhere. Someone will tell me who's listening in. And all of a sudden, ta-da! There he. Oh, he came back the same time as Whittaker, didn't he? In a surprise, ta-da! And he still had strapped up knee, stitches in his knee. He's a trooper. He loves the club, and he'll do anything he can for it. Hopefully, it doesn't do long-term damage. I don't think it will. He's obviously mobile enough to play now, but he's not going to help us. He needs to probably spend most of his time on the international break on the physio's couch, I'd imagine.
But you still take a half-fit Hardy than any of the current lot that we've got. So
it's missing that outlet. It's missing that outlet, Carl, isn't it? Go on. Sorry, go on, Gav.
No, what's really frustrating is if you on paper, obviously, on paper we're European champions, right? But on paper, you'd expect Obafemi and Bundu between them to be able to, hold the ball up. They've both got pace. We've discovered that when Beidou plays on the right, when Bundu plays on the right wing, he beats defenders left, right, and centre. We know that Obafemi's got pace, and we know Obafemi's got strength. But for whatever happens, it seems to be a challenge around trying to get them to link up. And I take what someone said to me on Twitter earlier was, what are they doing all day in training? Are they just all got neck ache when the ball goes 50 feet up in the air? I don't know. But it doesn't feel like, and you take when it clicked, we had Callum Wright, we had Hardy, and we had Bundu. They seem to know each other's patterns, and they seem to know who's going to make the run before the ball's flicked on. Well, you take one of those out of that, the whole balance is gone. And now it's like we've got three strangers playing up top who have never played with each other before. Well, Mumba's been here forever. Callum Wright's been here forever. Bundu's been here, I think it's his second season. Surely there's going to be some kind of fluidity, but it just seems like they're strangers every week.
Yeah, so, I mean, Carl, coming back to you, I sort of said in the chat, very passionately, I left a voice message to the group this morning about, the whole, still for me, it's the opportunity still there, not going to go down without a fight. And after those last two performances, that's hard, like I said earlier, to sort of see how the players are going to do it. The big thing for me is hopefully the dressing room's still there, still together. I sense that, from JB and Malachi's post matches. But Carl, going back to the question I gave to Andy on, Miron, are you thinking and starting to ask questions about his style, and is he actually able to, to sort of change things up quick enough in this league to compete?
I think it's ridiculous. People are calling out Miron within 2 months. If our squad is generally poor, we've had a couple of poor transfer windows. He hasn't got the players that he really wants. Apart from obviously he brought Boateng in, which I thought had an okay game, and he's shown glimpses that he could be a decent player once he gets himself fit and used to the system and everything else. But I think we're not going to see the best of Miron until the summer, a full pre-season, when we get players in, the players he wants, players that want to be here, that want to fight for the shirt. And we got many players on that pitch yesterday that weren't fighting for the shirt at the club. I think they kind of resigned themselves to it's going to be a massive struggle. We aren't seeing that fight that we saw a few weeks before Man City. It's kind of given up when they're down tools.
Yeah, they do.
Sorry,
go on.
Just an interjection. Yeah, when Miron came, and obviously no one knew he was from Adam, first thing I did was go, right, let's get some Cercle Bruges highlights. Now, what they are playing and what we are playing are two, it's like going to Harrods Food Court and Lidl, right? It is. Yes, are they playing a direct style? Yes, right. But I think the closest we've got to Miron ball has been Millwall. High press intensity. We scored 5 goals. We probably created 7 chances, and we looked like $1 million. Now, funnily enough, Twitter after that week was, he's going to get poached in the summer, then the week after, he's going to be Pep's next successor at Man City, and then a week later, everyone's going, he's a shithouse, and go away. I just sometimes beggars belief. I tweeted this morning, it grips my shit. It really does. all these short-termisms. Like, do we want to be Watford? Do we want to be Stoke? Do we just have don't put the name of the coach on the door? The ink won't dry or the paint won't dry on it before he gets sacked. But we can't have sustainable,
people just
successful
want
football
immediate
club.
success, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And even going back 100 years ago, Ferguson barely won a game for the first 6 months. He's got to build his style.
Of course he has.
Yeah. Are we playing good football now? Absolutely not. I watch it every week. Right? We couldn't score with a bankrupt lady of ill repute at the minute. Right? We just couldn't. We're horrific. However, in the short and medium term, in the medium and long term, we will get a good style of football, and we'll have players that will adapt to the style. We've done it's clicked once or twice, but then I think we're all knackered. I think he needs to completely change the team, and to say to any club, and I coach business all the time. If you put a new leader of a business in, and after 2 months he wasn't hitting the straps, and you said get rid, guess what? You'd be bankrupt. So that's what your churn is. He needs the time to do the job, and I know I'm getting passionate. I'm on my soapbox.
No, 100%, mate.
Hang on. I'm just going to pick my feet up. Take it away, Gav.
Who can tell I've been sat in Costa for 2.5 hours this morning while the kids are at jump?
But this is what
with fans.
Yeah, this is what it's like. Even when we were, in Diamond yesterday, this is what you're all like in your groups with your friends. When you're trying to digest a game, you come on to shows like this, as to sort of get the views. And if you don't have that outlet, because mentally it's tough. But I sort of go back to my sort of point, and I think I'll come to you now, Steve, on this one. But mirror on style, I think, can work. Actually, let me just bring this comment up. Mark's just said, for me, there are too many changes and players just can't get used to playing together as they aren't given time. It's all a bit panicky. There's an element of that, yes. I think Hardy, even though he wasn't scoring for months before, as a couple of people pointed out to me on X, but at the end of the day, he has had an impact as Miron's got his style slowly going. And that's important. And so I do think that could be a difference. I mean, we just had Teddy Pearson on, a Pompey fan, evening Teddy. They played superb today. And this league can just be that up and down where suddenly then we get Hardy on, we have Wright and Bundu maybe up front and whatever in midfield there. It's certainly not going to be Randall, and suddenly we get the flowing play that we have seen elements of. But how important, Steve, is that first goal, and how big, again, after 3 attempts, 2 really good ones that we couldn't convert, and they get a cracking goal that was probably out on the touchline, but what does it matter? When it went out over the line, looked to us for a throw-in. But yeah, how important is that first goal? And on Wednesday, could be another trigger for a collapse or go on and win.
That first goal is very important. Always remember, was it in League One? Remember the MK Dons game when we lost? And obviously those. Remember the first 15 minutes, and then he came at us, didn't he? Our heads just dropped that day, and the same thing happened yesterday.
Yeah,
and that first goal, and Hardy is a vital cog to the way we play.
Yeah, agreed.
He's indispensable. We haven't got the players we haven't physically got the players. We haven't got the quality there in the squad.
Yeah, no, it's tough, but yeah, I don't know. It's just really difficult, isn't it? I mean, I'm just looking over my some of my other notes, but it really is hard to sort of see where they can get themselves back together. But it only takes that one result, and either that was going to be an absolute dire nightmare for us all right until the end, and God forbid, if it comes down the Leeds in the last game and it's another hole to sort of try and stay in the league. Look, a lot of people
on your notes, Mike.
A lesser performance.
What would you do in the international break? Would you give them time off, or would you get them in to do light training? What is
no, you can't. I'd be absolutely amazed. I mean, yeah, you might give them another couple of days rest because of the back-to-back games. You have to really, in my opinion, really consider the focus on the mentality and state of the players. We all know how important it is when we go through some tough times, how important family is. And I think, if they can go away for a few days just to get together with family where they're not down here, because in some cases they're not, that can really help. Obviously, you take Maxi's situation with his dad, who's obviously fighting in Ukraine. We wish him well with that. It's the conversations they have, that keep them both going, between father and son. So I think a few days sort of rest, absolutely, and then a slow recovery, and just go through and digest and work out, what we can do and who's going to go out there and sort of pit 110% on the pitch, to really get us out of this mess. Andy, what do you think to that question?
Yeah, I quite agree, mate. And it's just I'd say with Carl, I'll go with Carl with light training. I wouldn't go into like full blown training, but yeah, any sort of light training to keep that fitness going. Hardy is essential. Steve's absolutely right. Hardy's a cog in the wheel up the front for us, and he's going to be the one that's going to put the ball in the onion bag. Hopefully, if he can recapture that form again. Yeah, it's going to be perseverance, isn't it? Really.
So, but would you give them some time off?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely. Yeah, I mean, what you were saying about Maxi's family and stuff like that, and they've all got families.
He's playing international football anyway. As is Katic, as will probably Cornel Such, although his squad's not been turned up yet. As probably will Victor Paulsen. So.
But that sort of might give people like Beidou a chance to actually catch up with the game as well, because from what he's been saying about Beidou recently, he's come from one season where he's been full on playing, and then it's been signed by us, and he's carried on full time playing, and he's not had a stop, he's not had a break in summer because the seasons run differently. So there are players that need.
If you're on the grass, you've got to talk tactics, haven't you? You've got to think, if we're not winning the duel, is that? I think the issue is, and the frustration, a lot of the frustration at the moment is, we're sending route one, but we're not winning the second ball, and we're not winning the third ball, or we're winning the second ball, and then we're giving it away immediately, and then we're coming straight back again. If you examine the game, I did a couple of days ago to cheer myself up, watch the Millwall game back at home, we won a load of second balls, right? Yeah. Which means, guess what, right? You bypass all the tippy-tappy nonsense, you get the ball in the final third, you get the ball back, and you've got your best 3, best 5 attacking players on the ball in the final third. That's the game plan. But when you can't pick up a second ball for love and the money, it comes straight back like a boomerang. And then you wonder why Katic and Maxi, Balson, Plegba's Halo are all knackered. And Pusac.
Yeah, no, look, look, we'll see. It does give a chance for reflection. I know Malachi said, I think it was in his post match about, they'll go back and they'll go through the elements of the game and all that sort of side of things. It's that outlet though. I keep going back to it. It might not change for me. Against Portsmouth with Hardy starting, and if it happens to be Wright and Bundu, in those positions again, if we then fold and collapse or can't muster anything in that game, then I think I will sort of resign myself. I think then to it, obviously Derby. Then we've got to play at home, and they've got that win. Will that spur them on to achieving something? But. Yeah, I think a lot of time for reflection in these international breaks, but certainly not a whole week off when, you need to really get together and sort it out.
Just got to regroup now, haven't we? We've got to regroup and just we've got 10 games left, guys, haven't we? We've just got to try our very best in every single game.
We'll have Randall back, won't we, for that first game back after the break? And
you'll have Joe Edwards back, and you'll hopefully have Hardy back. I mean, we had Hardy and Randall out for the last 2 games. Edwards has been out most of the season. It's like,
I mean, it was great to see him come on, yesterday and get some minutes. Obviously, as alluded to earlier, Miron saying that he's not likely to get a full 90 on Wednesday. But yes, he's in the dressing room in the background. I get all that, And do you drop? Well, there you go. There's a question for you all. I mean, Steve, would you drop Sorinola for Edwards on Wednesday?
Yeah, I would. Sorry.
You're on mute again,
You're on mute, Steve.
Come on, Steve.
Miron did say yesterday that Edwards would get about 30 minutes on Wednesday.
Yeah, he needs longer than that.
Because obviously
if he's ready for it.
He's trying to build his fitness up.
Yeah, he's not.
I did like the comment from Mirren the other day. I think it was either after the midweek game or it was after yesterday, where it said actually sometimes in environments like this you need people on the pitch with character, not necessarily better skill, right? So if you had 11, how many tweets have we had this about? Oh, we had like fucking 11 Joe Edwards, like we'd be winning the league in that. No, we probably wouldn't, but we probably wouldn't actually be as bad because you'd have 11 fighters. We've got 3 or 4 already. You bring Joe back. Where's the armband? And he gets the crowd pumped and does what he does best. We're more likely to be positive and move forward than we are, folding like a cheap tent after 1 goal.
Yeah, and yeah, no, absolutely, and knowing that it's it's after the Derby game, the international break, it's if there's something we can clutch out of that, even if we're still in touch and distance, and it's a win from one of those, certainly, obviously, 2 wins would be perfect. Players, please, but to obviously get a result against Derby before going into that break at least gives that mood. I know it's typical, then you end up going off when you want to try and carry that momentum, but it's 2, just 2 more. Every game's massive. Every game's
a cup final.
Yeah, exactly. Just looking at a few of the comments. So thanks everybody for dropping by tonight. If it's your first time viewing the Block 9 podcast, sorry it has to be on such a somber moment as our team, Plymouth Argyle, struggle at the bottom of the league to get out of it and also to find the form that's needed. As I alluded to in my intro, the FA Cup, hangover sadly seems to be rearing its head with this. But a lot of games back to back. Go back to Sheffield Wednesday. I'm going to make the point again. Had a whole week's rest. Portsmouth obviously played today, played superb, as a couple of people had noted. We get them on Wednesday. We've got that extra day. Anything can happen. Why have you collapsed there, Carl? What have I missed?
Something that Andy said.
Oh, right, okay. So yeah, the boys are misbehaving, folks. So look, we're here every Sunday at 6:30. Also, we have our new slot that we do, our new segment on. It will be Thursdays. It was Friday last week, but the live lounge that we do, where we take a different angle on things, a bit more relaxed and chilled out. Starts at 9:15 because we're covering kids where we all have them to make sure they're in bed, and then we can free flow. We talked about investment in that show. It's up on YouTube. You can go back and watch that, and we'll touch a bit more on that as we've seen more questions and things being asked. So just a little bit of a plug for what we're doing on the show. Who's got a question next? So I'll throw it out there.
I'll throw a question out there. Do you think the FA Cup run has hindered our season, yes or no? Do you think we would have been more competitive if we didn't have the cup run?
So in my view, obviously I've given it the hangover note tonight, haven't I? So I'm going to say it has affected us, certainly with the whole game getting moved to the Tuesday so soon after. I think was a bit harsh, but is what it is. So that's my view on it. It was great, and we had a brilliant go of it. But a bit like Leeds last year, with that second leg and that extra time, has it been one distraction too much? Andy, what are you saying to that?
Yeah, it has been a distraction. It's been a nice distraction because we've gone up against some good sides, but it has been a distraction. I think I said after the Liverpool match, I'd rather we sort of go out to Liverpool and concentrate on the league than stay in the cup, because it was a distraction. We're going to places, like the Etihad and playing Liverpool and playing Brentford away and winning that Brentford, for goodness sake. So yeah, it's been a distraction. Yeah, I agree with what Martin says, actually. Our away form has been
I'm going to come on to that in a second, so I'll come back to Martin's question. Yeah, Steve, you agreeing the FA Cup's been an unwanted distraction?
Well, last season, that extra time actually finished us for the season. And it's an unwanted distraction. Well, I've got a stat here, because 36 games last season, 36 games this season. Last season, played 36, won 10, drew 10, lost 16, scored 53, conceded 60, 40 points. In this season, played 36, won 6, drawn 12, lost 18, scored 36, conceded 23, 30 points.
Yes. Yeah, wow.
Otherwise,
10 versus 6. Right, we'll move on from those stats. Gavin, depressing. Gavin,
I would say it's one game too many, the Etihad, right? Now, if you're David Ray, he'll disagree with you with his final breath on that because it netted us about £1 million. However, can't spend it now on the squad. I think the Liverpool game did us a lot of good because if you look at the confidence post that game and the performance, as I mentioned earlier, against Millwall, we probably played as close to mirror on ball as we can and we won 5-1. However, I think, going back to my earlier point, we haven't used, although it's a paper-thin squad, we haven't used it deep enough. I think when players have come back, they've not been given enough game time, which has meant the same old faithful, certainly in the back five, have played game after game after game after game, relentless pressure, and they are absolutely bushed, and they're not machines, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I think the question, it's from Martin, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Around
let me go back to that.
Around that piece of work, yes, was it a distraction? Probably, but I think if we used the squad better, right? And I remember sitting in the pre-Man City pod going, I'd drop him, and got absolute pelters for it. Thanks to all the TikTok fans. I'm glad I'm not on there. I'd have been permanently abused. But
TikTok's all right.
We needed absolutely to take that side to Hull and give them a week's rest. And we didn't. We said, why don't you just run around after De Bruyne and Haaland and Foden and everyone else, and then go out on Tuesday night and do it again for us. They are not machines, right? So was it a good distraction? I think for the fans, it was brilliant because it was kind of light relief from the mental torture that's gone on since August, quite frankly. Was it good relief for the club? Yes. Was it good relief for the players? Probably. Playing against Liverpool at home and winning was phenomenal. We're only one of 3 teams, I think, has done it all year. Is it going to help our relegation push? Absolutely not. But I think that's, I am going to say I'm not often critical of management at all, but I think Miron's one categorical mistake this year has been he's relied too heavily on the back five. He's not changed it enough, and that's why we're looking jaded and tired, and that's why we're easy to pick off at the minute.
Yeah, no, can't disagree. Going back to Martin's question, Carl, come to you on this one. Obviously our away form that has sunk us this season. It's still without that win, except for the Brentford and the Cup game. What do you think of my theory that the problem is psychological? So, and also, so you go out in your away kit, you mentally associate that with losing. I think obviously there's been a lot of talk, Carl, hasn't there, on the psychological side now, and not being able to get out of that. Miron touches upon it, the whole psychological effect of conceding the first goal. I do, and this was his second point, to that, was when we played in green against Man City, we played really well, and it goes back to the point, we absorbed a lot of pressure, but we can play well against, obviously, when we're organised and structured, and that has proven that case. What do you say to Martin's 2 points?
Well, it has to be psychological at this stage. We've gone all season without winning away in the league. Last season was pretty much the same. Even under Schumacher, we struggled to win away. So it's been a long-standing thing for the last 2 seasons. We've struggled away. I don't think it comes down to what kit we wear. I don't,
I can get that though, because it's just something we have tried to mix it up, haven't we? I can sort of get it.
We've played in white, we played in yellow, we played in green.
Yeah, I know.
Honestly, I think we're just.
But it's association though, and footballers are very simple human beings, aren't they? Without being rude.
I think
don't be rude if you're watching, guys. Any of you.
Well, no, but I remember Lasseau being called homosexual because he read the Financial Times of the Guardian, right? And he had a degree. They are simpler folk, aren't they? Right? And I don't think that in a bad way, but they're all very superstitious human beings. And if every time you put a white shirt on, you go out and get absolutely bent over a barrel and rogered, right? Guess what? You put the white shirt on, and immediately the association is we're going to play dross and we're going to lose. Same with the yellow kit. We probably had a little bit better in that. When we play in green, they think we're at home. We normally do well at home. Therefore, the improvement. So I think he's bang on with his comment, actually. That maybe you should go in, Martin, and be the psychologist for the team for the remainder.
Hang on, counsellor here.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Carl. What's your answer back to that, Carl?
It's worth a shot to maybe try the green shirt in a couple of away games later on in the season, but I don't think that's going to.
We aren't going to get a clash, are we?
We are going to get a clash. We're probably playing white against Pompey because green and blue at night's not going to be a great combination, but I think it's more. I think it's more psychological than it is colour of shirt. To be honest, I don't think if we turned up in green away from home, we'd suddenly start bringing that home 3 points every week.
So you've got to get the mentality right. When we came up from League One, right, we had a winning mentality. We walked that league that season.
Winning is infectious.
101 points.
Yeah.
Got into the championship. Won our first few games under Schumacher, and then he off to Stoke. Yeah, and that's when it started going wrong for us. You started losing a few games, then you bring in a manager, like Foster, who started losing games, and then we know the history. It went wrong. Rooney, we won a few games under Rooney, the new manager, and then all of a sudden we started losing games. And it's that loser mentality will breed a loser mentality. If you've got a winning mentality, ask Luton fans. Luton
well, Andy, I was about to make that very point, right?
Yeah, sorry.
The second biggest playing budget in our league is Luton Town.
Yeah.
Right? They might as well be paying them 50p, a curly whirly, and a fun-sized Mars bar because the performances are dire. Why? Because
block line done.
Well, you're the psychologist. They're all mentally shot, aren't they? They're all mentally shot.
Yeah,
just a spoonful of sugar.
Cannot get out of that losing mentality.
Yeah,
Yes or no?
That's right, exactly right.
You're the one with the psychology degree in the forum. That if that is the case, we have to have a bloody good clear out, right?
Yeah.
Or they all need to go on a defrag to a kumbaya camp somewhere. Sorry, I'm absolutely defaming your profession now. But they all need to be defragged, don't they, to get themselves back into a winning mentality.
Yeah.
Because Luton have come down, they go behind, heads drop, walloped. How many times have they lost 4-0 because they've been not in games and they've played poorly, or they've lost a close game because they haven't concentrated because they've got a losing mentality? If we don't fix this in the summer and have a bloody good clear out, there's a very good chance, not saying it's dead set, there's a very good chance that we will start in the same vein again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, so just pulling up like in a bit of passion there, Gavin. Pilgrim Pete saying, here's a stat. Yesterday was our 8th game this season where we've conceded 3 or more goals, scored 1 and conceded 34. I wasn't too fussed that we were affecting our goal difference again yesterday because that doesn't really matter, does it? Strictly Plymouth, good evening. We're going to need an extra 1 million plus. We are going to need the extra 1 million plus we've netted in our FA Cup run to add to our income in League One. I mean, Gavin touched upon it earlier. It's certainly that is one of the positives from that. Steve Riggs, even Muslich watched Roberts play brilliantly at Brentford, but he's not even. So actually, this leads us on to a question as well that was debated earlier. And if someone can look up for me, the person, Carl, who tagged you and I in it, as well as a few others, including Miron. You got Freddie Azaka, Tegan Finn, and Caleb Roberts. Actually, it formed part of a back and forth chat with Steve and Marcus, who's not on with us tonight. But while the game was going on, and I had to politely tell them both to stop moaning as well because it was driving me mad with notifications. But no, yeah. Caleb Roberts, Freddie Azaka, Tegan Finn. Steve, I'll come to you as you were talking about it. So Tegan Finn's the standout, really, because of the potential that obviously Rooney put on him, and if he's got that, and we saw snippets of it, why isn't someone like him starting? Azaka, for me, didn't do enough in those 2 games Rooney gave him to start, which is a shame because I've backed him a lot. And Roberts, obviously, yes, against Brentford, looked really good, but neither of these have had really a sniff of an opportunity, have they?
None of them have they, really, to be honest? And Rooney wasn't afraid to give youngsters a chance, but if things are a little bit different under Muslik, I don't know what it is.
Do you think he's going for? And I will pass this over to the panel as well. But do you think there's an element of he wants sort of the experience, and when you're in this sort of fight, because when he joined, we were in that fight, and he wanted to really trust the more experienced players with that.
Yes, I think so. But if the experienced players are not putting it out there, you've got to give them a chance, haven't you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, sort of, Carl, on the youth there, what's your thoughts of that? Obviously, we shared it in reply earlier, but yeah, do you want to share what you put on that?
Yeah, I'm surprised that especially Caleb Roberts, I think he's the biggest one out of the youth system, which seems like he's not getting a chance, even though when he's been given a very slim chance in, it seems to be FA Cup games. He played at Leeds away last season in the FA Cup. This season against Brentford, he's seeming to be used as a starter in FA Cup games, one a season, which is very odd. And every time he's performed, you think he's going to get kind of a chance in the team, and he kind of goes off into the background. You don't see him again for another season. It's really, really strange. And it looked like he's filled out a bit. He's got a bit of strength to him now. He keeps the ball really well. He likes to get forward. I just don't understand why we're not using him more. Asaka, he's had a lot of chances early part of the season. It hasn't really impressed me, I don't think. I think he needs a loan. He doesn't look strong enough. He looks scared when he's got the ball. He's meant to be really, really pacey, but we never really got the chance to see him use his pace. He didn't seem to be in much space to use that, and his final ball was pretty weak. But that's not the fault of Asaka. That's the fault of us getting promotion quite quickly, and he didn't really have a sniff at a loan or anything. So he got to the team.
I think I'll just add to that, Carl, as well. In fairness to Asaka, any of these players coming into games where we're playing so bad as well.
Go on.
Yeah, just when we're playing so bad, the negative effect, of trying to rely on these players and to come in and do something, and it didn't work in those 2 games for Freddie, whereas, when you're having a good run and you can bring these players in because you're doing well and you're leading by 2 or 3 goals, but not in the 2 games that he played in.
And that red at QPR probably affected him quite badly as well mentally.
Yes, great point.
Young lad, that probably did knock his confidence a tremendous amount. And Tegan Finn, obviously, we heard all about Tegan Finn when Rooney was here, and he's the next best thing. And he's, again, if he's meant to be the next big thing, it doesn't matter how old you are, play the guy. We haven't got any creativity in that position. We've lost Whittaker now. Just give him a go, especially now, in a few games' time, we might be out of it anyway. So just throw him in and see what he could do for next season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tegan Finn on Boxing Day, when he was thrown in, I think we were already 4-0 down, or maybe 3. I can't
a couple of decent shots, didn't he?
He hit the crossbar early by cutting inside.
He did,
a la our dear friend, the man who doesn't turn up for work and won't be named. Hello, Borough fans. You got a good deal there. You've robbed us. Sorry. He was probably the standout figure in an absolutely woeful performance where we collapsed like a sandcastle at high tide after conceding the first goal for a change. Is he strong enough to play in a 10 role? Well, he's going to be no worse than Ballymumba at the minute, no worse than Callum Bright at the minute. He might not have their physicality in the press, but on the ball, I think he'll be useful. He's got to be worth a bench spot. I mean, he's got to be worth 20 minutes if we're chasing a game, surely.
Yeah, well, it's a bit like Accidental Pilgrim evening, and welcome back again. Yeah, if Rooney endorses and rates a young and up and coming player like him, then there's no better judge, surely. And I can't disagree. There's obviously something, but just can't disagree with that. I'd love to see him, sort of come on and see what he can do. It might be after Portsmouth and Derby, he might not have anything to lose then, and it's like, right, okay, we might be out by then, sort of not even if not mathematically or maybe by then. But get out there and see what you can do.
Some of these kids as well, Mike, going back to sort of an Andy point, you can maybe confirm or deny this, but they're not going to have the emotional scars of the rest of the squad that have been there and been absolutely battered around like Apollo Reed.
They want the opportunity, don't they?
They're not going to have those scars. They're going to be out. They're going to be the exuberance of youth. I don't care. The confidence. I'll show you lot. Surely that's what we need. We need a bit of spunk in the side, not a bit of we've gone 1-0 down. Well, that's the end of the game.
Yeah, I'm just going to give a shout out. I haven't been able to monitor it myself directly. It's in front of me actually on my iPad, but we're streaming on to TikTok, and there's a few of the gang in there. So evening to everybody. Macy, Zoo Corner, Ben, I can see is in there as well. Marcus looks like he's hiding in TikTok tonight, and maybe he's too distraught to have come on and joined us on that.
Good lovely boy.
I wouldn't blame him, but yeah, just a few questions that have, Macy saying, on TikTok that we left it too late to get rid of Rooney. I do not disagree with that now. Do agree with it. I think it was a bit too late. And I think part of me says, and I know he's gone now, but that was Jewsnip pushing that to hang on and hang on and hang on. We'll never necessarily know. Zoo Corner says it makes no odds at all. We can't play in green at home. That was referring to the kit thing earlier. And there's a few people sort of obviously making a note to we're going down, and all that sort of stuff. So. So thanks to those guys that are watching there. Back to the comments on here. Graham's one here I looked at earlier, and I thought, I loved I think it was a Watford game when we first went up, where I thought, my God, he looks really good. And then he got that injury, and you're just like, oh, come on, please. But yeah, I mean, he was saw him warming up yesterday. I really like him. I agree with Graham. He's another option that we can consider. Anyone else want to give a shout, Andy, on Saxon Early?
Yeah, Saxon Early. He's probably got it. I don't know why he didn't do anything at Lincoln, whether he wasn't playing at all for them.
Didn't he have an injury as well? Was he?
He might
Which
have had
loan
an
did he
injury
have?
there, but he seems a good enough player. He seems to be in that sort of ilk of the back five. Just coming back to the sort of youngsters, I'm looking at we're talking about Tegan Field, adding to that Joe Hatch as well. Some of these lads, to look at them, they look like schoolboys. They're probably the age of schoolboys. They're going to be buffeted around by some of these big centre backs, aren't they? You look at some of these sides now. They're well established.
They've got to play wide. I mean, Hatch is done for the year anyway. Did his ACL, didn't he? So he's not selectable.
But they're well established championship sides, and they've got all big blokes in there. Like big clubs. We saw that yesterday. Wednesday, they bullied us yesterday.
Yeah, Patterson had a really good game up top for Sheffield Wednesday. Proper championship.
That guy Patterson.
Yeah,
and Barry Bannon was just running the show yesterday.
It was. I'm just going to look it up. Actually, there was a player. I think I can pick him out. Hang on, where we go in here? Squads. No, that's the wrong thing. For those that spotted it, if I can quickly get back on my FOT mob here to pick it up. Who did those? Anyone notice? We got a good view of it from where we are in the Mayflower. It was one. It might have been one of the subs actually who scored their third goal. Was that? I'm going to get this wrong. Hang on, I'll look it up. But anyway, he sort of got the ball off Katic or stopped Katic or something and said something to him that absolutely pissed off Katic, riled him big time. Almost like he sort of did a bit of a trick and fooled Katic and almost said a few words to him. And that's just unprofessional.
He was on the booking, wasn't he? And second offence, he's sent off. That's what they wanted because he's probably the better of the two players at the back there. Maxi had a poor game yesterday. I thought Katic had his worst game on Argyle shirt yesterday. But that's, as Gav's saying, fatigue, You can't.
Well, fatigue and going that goal down. That's the problem. It is super, super, super important that we'll look at. I mean, to be fair, I said to the guys earlier, folks, that if we don't make an hour, that's fine because talking negatively for about the situation for so long can drain everybody, mentally as well. Well, we're just over an hour now if I factor in the 10-minute countdown that we start. So we've not done too bad, but I'm conscious of sort of the big game on Wednesday and sort of switching the mindset to that a minute. I'm seeing some other comments coming in, but I'm not going to read some of those out to be fair. But coming on to Portsmouth, a really, really good result for them today, against Leeds, and it looked like a great game. I had it on the background. I was watching bits of it, but I think, Gavin, you saw some of it. They did look really, really good. What are you thinking? And I'll come to you, Gavin. What are we thinking on Wednesday? With Hardy back, what are you thinking going into that game that's possible?
I've selected a team if you want to share it on the screen.
Oh, have you sent it to me, yeah?
For selection hour. I haven't consulted the selection committee on this particular instance, but
I'll bring it up in a second.
It's got to be freshened. I think, you can pull it up because I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Yeah, hang on, let me get to it quickly. If that's the right one.
There you go. So, but first of all, I have to say hello to my nephew Ethan because he's travelled every home and away game. He knows Harvey. I think he's been to all the games Harvey has. He's going to this, and I spoke to him earlier with absolutely zero expectation. We've got to freshen it up. Here is my 11. Hazard and goal, obviously. Pleggy, Katic, and Such. I think Maxi's spent. Well, I think they're both spent. Katic in the centre does less running. I think he's a better leader. So I'd have him in the side. I'd have Maxi on the bench. Pusac left wing. Better, I think, is a very confidence-led player, and his own goal is put him in the bin. He was hooked at half-time. I can't see him recovering for that mentally. Sorrentino on the right, although, as everyone's kind of said, Edwards getting at least half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, sort of 60 minutes, 55, 60 minutes to build his stamina. Caleb Roberts and Boateng in the midfield. Boateng can play the defensive role really well. Let's get Roberts getting the ball and driving up the pitch, right? And let's have a go at him. Let's be on the front foot.
Absolutely.
Will it work? Who knows, right? Because he hasn't played. But he's come up against some Premier League and very high this division midfield, and he's never disgraced himself. So why not, right? We've tried JB. He isn't in form. I think there's a footballer in there, but he isn't there.
Well, he's done it, and also Gavin, he's done a lot of minutes as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, JB has. Yeah. Well, look, we've only had 3 fit midfielders.
Yeah.
Right. We got rid of your doppelganger up the road. Everyone laughed, and then we brought in Boateng, but we already needed another 2, so we're back to square one. And as I said, our on-field skipper of recent times, mouth runs quicker than the entire midfield, so he's out. And then front 3. I think we need a bit of strength. Actually, do you know what? I was really impressed with Obafemi. Here you go. You can clip this up and I'll get battered later on X. Obafemi came on.
No, what are you on about?
I thought he'd run as hard as he's ever run all season. I've seen him train a couple of times. I've seen him do runs before and after games. He didn't look interested. That's the hardest he's run in an Argyle shirt all year. Right? Whatever happens, maybe he's realised, shit, I've got 10 games left to get myself a new contract somewhere. I have to start working. But I thought he was okay. I'd keep him in the team. I'd play Bundu on the left and Hardy on the right. And at least that's got a bit of oomph up top. You can whip balls down the channel to Hardy and be a release, assuming he's fit enough. Bundu holds the ball up and is a very good wide player. And Obafemi will be a handful and a nuisance. So that is my Pod 9 selection of the week.
So that's just from my point of view, good to see Pleggy in there. Yes, I'm a big fan naturally anyway, and have been for a while, not just because of recent events. Even in Pleggy, if you're watching, and Georgia, if you're watching, they were going to try and maybe catch us tonight. But I thought, actually, in fairness, he had a really good first half, Pleggy, actually, and I just think happenstance and needed to make changes. Roberts, can't disagree with that after what we just said again about the youngsters. Obafemi, I'm still not sure. The most running I've seen him do was coming off the touchline to get on the pitch when he subbed on. No, I'm joking. I can see why you've gone with him, but I'm just still not sure. So, Carl, looking at the order down, what would you say to that lineup, and what would you do differently or change?
I agree with the front 3. I would have Obafemi on the left, though, and still have Bundu up front on his own. I think if we're playing long ball, I don't think Obafemi is going to be.
Yeah, that's a fair variation, Carl. I'll give you that.
Well, that's where he played against Luton, wasn't it? Here.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he did well.
Yeah.
But I think Bund, he's had a couple of poor games, probably because he's been overused, and he's tired like everybody else is. But I think Bundu up front is done generally okay. But yeah, I do agree with those front 3. I'd love Roberts to get a start, so I completely agree with Roberts and Boateng in the middle. Will it happen? Probably not. And if it's not Roberts, I'll probably go for Houghton, because JB again's had another poor game. He looks spent. Give Houghton another go if it's not Roberts. I'd have Edwards instead of Sorinola. Again, Sorinola's had a lot of game time, and he didn't do an awful lot yesterday. We need our captain back. The back 3. Yeah, I kind of understand what Gav's saying about Maxi being tired as well. The whole squad's tired. Maybe bringing in Suchi might be a good idea to freshen things up. So yeah, I do agree with that basis of the 11, but I honestly don't think he's going to go with Roberts, because I don't think he's ready to use youth in this fight yet.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Steve, what are you saying? What would you change, if anything, there?
I would keep Bundu up top and put Obafemi on the left.
Yeah,
fair. That's cemented in now, boys. We'll change that round.
Also,
so it's not live. We'll make this live at some stage. Go on.
Yeah.
I would put Sorinola on the left and bring Joe Evers in on the right. He can play on the left. He has before. And then I would like to see Roberts in midfield with Boateng. I would, but I don't think he will. So it'll probably have to be Houghton. And then at the back, I'll keep that back three: Pleggy, Katic, and Suits with Hazard and goal.
Yeah, fair enough then. And Andy, what's your take on that?
I'm going to say it, Gav. Sorry, mate. Obafemi's not. He's not even make my bench.
You're not a fan, are you?
I'm really not a fan of him. He doesn't give enough for us. I'm sorry, but I'd almost have sort of Callum Wright up there. I think Callum Wright would link up better with Hardy and Bundu. Like you suggested earlier on, I really don't think Obafemi's the answer. Soranelli, I'd have him. I'd almost have him sort of coming on. Give Edwards the first half an hour, say, and then bring Soranelli in.
You can't make a sub in the first half, though, can you, of a game?
Well, how was that? All right, okay. give him till half time then. Give him till half time. Edwards till half time. Will it last half time? Probably. And then Soranelli in. Pukash, he didn't have a brilliant game yesterday, mind you. None of us did. Roberts, I agree with. Yeah, definitely in Boateng if he decides to play them. Yeah, Pleggy, Katic, and Souks. I think we need to give Katic a rest as well. But who do you bring in?
Powson in the middle will do just as good a job. But if you look at the FOTMOB's stats, Katic has been the leading light in terms of the ratings every game of the back three.
He's been brilliant. And I feel for Max because Max, he does give, a full sort of 100%. But it's like he looked really lagging and tired yesterday. And we don't see the fist pumps anymore when he gives the challenge, and that's
he did one. He did do one the second
second
half.
I must have missed that. I must have fallen asleep by then.
The first half.
But other than that, I agree with that. Definitely Hardy. Bundu will offer something up front, and I think just Callum Wright, having Hardy up top, and then having Callum Wright in behind.
Without raking up old ground, to use my analogy again of Callum Wright, he is the best foundation builder in the business. But when you ask him in the bedroom to consummate the marriage, he goes and walks the dog. He couldn't finish.
He's been too busy playing to walk his dog. He's had to employ a dog walker now.
He can't, couldn't he? He can't finish.
But he supplies.
He's the best presser we have outside of Hardy.
Yeah, he'll supply Bundu and Hardy. I don't think. I don't know what it is about Obafemi. He just looks. He's just that. Steve, like, I'm on loan at Argyle. I'm getting paid by my club. Thank you very much.
When was Callum Wright's last assist? You're a stat guy. When was Callum Wright's last assist?
Didn't he assist against Hull last season? I don't know if he's done it this season. I can't remember.
Wow, that's nuts.
I mean, if we go back,
Joe Edwards scored.
Doesn't it?
I'm sure he assisted this season.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
There is one this season. I haven't got it to hand.
Is it Millwall?
Stick up Pilgrim Petey's comment. That sums it up for me.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, just seen that one drop in.
No goals.
51 now, PP. 51, mate. He played on Saturday. It was 50 before that.
Oh, was it?
51 now.
But at least, thanks for bringing that stat on.
I think he's useful in League One. He put in some really good performances in League One, but the Championship's a whole different ball game, and he's nowhere near it.
He hasn't scored since Shrewsbury away.
No, he hasn't. Wow. That's 51 games.
So I think overall looking at that sort of lineup, I mean, I sort of said earlier when we were talking that I'd probably go back to Bundu, Hardy, and Wright up front. Wright hasn't been great for a while, but I think he's done very well. But yeah, at times I can understand what people say about him, and so I can understand. Then at the end of the day, when you're trying to look at options and asking Muslich to change it up, that Gavin Pitts Obafemi in there, see if he's suddenly whatever's gone on in the background changes tone, changes his attitude. Why not,
guys? It's a tombola, right? The front three. Let's be honest. Who's ripping up they're not even ripping up saplings, let alone trees. It is horrific. So we've tried the rest. Now let's play the best, or maybe not. But we've tried the rest. Obafemi's had bit parts. I just think on Saturday he showed a renewed urgency. I think I'd love to see his running stats because they're about 3 times what he normally has on the pitch per minute, I'm sure. Has he got the quality? I don't know. But I remember he scored the winner against Pompey. by shoving your man out of the way. So he's got some good memories there. That's number one. Number two, when he's on form and he's got the bit between his teeth, he's a handful. If he's crap, hook him at half time, bring on Wright. But I just think that would be more of a handful, those top three. And I do agree, actually, play him on the left and Bundle and through the centre gives us something, some hope, hopefully, if he's on song, if he's not looking. But it'll give some confidence to the lad. He's either been out the squad or he's been given 20 minutes to try and create the impossible.
It's because he's done bugger all when it's been the
Here's one. What if you play two up front?
But then you're talking different tactics. Now we need a whole nother hour, Steve. 3-5-2.
We need a show or just 4-4-2, I think.
Well, 3-5-2 I think would work. Funnily enough, Cercle Bruges played 3-5-2 today. They did lose to the other Bruges club, who won't be mentioned, in case Mirren's watching. And I saw a stat before we came on. Club Bruges were trying to put their flag in the centre spot of the Cercle Bruges pitch, like Sunes, wasn't it, in Turkey? And three of the big lumpy centre halves went up and stopped them and said, "Do that, I'll knock you out." We could do with a bit of that fight at the minute, at the moment, quite frankly. Miron, if you're watching, get him over in the summer.
So, as we look to wrap up now, so score predictions for Pompey. Obviously, Gavin should have really reversed it. It's Pompey v Argyle, isn't it? But so, Gavin, what are you going scoreline wise?
It's either going to be catastrophic, and we'll lose 3-0, or we'll nick this 1-0. And as I'm still slightly tipping towards the positive note, I'm going to say an ultimate shithouse 1-0. Keep the bus in front of the goal, score early with something, and hold it off for 70 odd minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Where am I going next? Carl, I'll go from bottom up.
I'm going to go for a 2-2. We seem to love 2-2s against Portsmouth, don't we?
Nailed on.
It's either going to be we're going to be 2-0 up with 10 to play and they'll come back and equalise, like happened a couple of times, or it'll be the reverse. But I would love us to go there and get a shithouse 1-0, or go up there and actually show some fight and get 3 points. But I think it'll either be a Pompey rout or a 2-2.
Yeah. Okay, Steve, what's on your mind with this one?
Well, my head says 1-0 to Argyle, but my heart says 3-0 to Pompey.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Marcus, who's hovering, like I said in the TikTok chat, is saying we're going to win this one. So we shall see on that one. Andy, what are you going with?
What do you think you were talking about, Marcus? I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw today, Wednesday. 1-1 draw. I can't see us winning because we haven't won in seems like forever now.
Yeah.
And we need someone to put the ball in the onion bag. I hope my heart says. I hope we win, but
no. Look, I'll close us out with my thoughts. So look, Pompey. I say it most sessions, and I put it on my videos. I do as well, but I am still not down and out yet. Regardless, I'm going to try and stay positive. Any players out there that are watching, might be listening, whatever. Just get out there and go for it. Be brave and take it to Pompey on Wednesday. Get that first goal, and that momentum shift in that game could be huge. Concede, just get on with it. Just get on with it. But come on, let's see something that shows these last 2 games were just what they were. Reside to the history books. Score prediction for me, I'm going to go 1-0 because I can't see us, because we're not scoring goals, scoring multiples. So I'm just going to go with 1-0 and a real hell of a game. I think it's going to be, against the 2 sides. Look, gents, thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. It's been a pleasure. It's a tough one, when it's not going so well. And I think, yes, you can look to accepting the situation, and I think if you do, sometimes mentally that can be good for you, because it can hit you hard when all you care about is your football club. Any fan that's watching us tonight, that's all you want at the end of the day. And I think, for me, let's keep going. There's still that opportunity out there to try and get something and see what we can do. But it's been a pleasure having you all on tonight. Thank you, everybody, for your comments in the chat. And look, let's rock on to Wednesday, and obviously Thursday night we'll have our live lounge, which will of course talk about that game. So let's hope for some positive vibes going into that session. So that's 9:15 on Thursday. It's already scheduled on YouTube, and that's so you can catch us there. And of course, now as we're streaming to our Block 9 channel as well on X, and we can see there's a good mix of users on there. My son has badgered me for a shout out, so I will do that, because that's what dads are for when you're the host, I suppose. So yeah, he's been in the TikTok chat. He's not a massive football fan, bless him. He's massive into his aviation, but Ben there done that. Sorry, Gavin.
I said we're not massive football fans either. We support Argyle.
Yeah.
You'd get Ben playing for us. He's flying up the wing, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It's too late for that now. And I know I keep promising it all the time, and my wife did me a surprise hydration bottle, which we all liked yesterday. Got myself a little mug spinner here. Come on, let me put some spin on this to end the show. So yeah, that
Collins,
will hopefully. Sorry, Andy.
Phil Collins, wasn't it?
Yeah, there you go. That is who you are now, Andy. So that'll be up soon. Look, everybody, enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you on Thursday.